There is a moment in every person's journey where things feel uncertain. You start with excitement. You feel motivated. You believe in the goal. But then, slowly, reality begins to test you. Progress feels slow. Results don't come immediately. Distractions appear everywhere. And the biggest challenge begins to grow quietly. Not outside, but inside your mind. Doubt. Is this worth it? Am I good enough? Should I try something else? This is where most people lose. Not because they lack talent. Not because they lack opportunity. But because they lose focus. They start strong, but they don't stay consistent. They move from one idea to another. One goal to another. One distraction to another. And in the end, they never stay long enough to win. This audiobook is about changing that. It is about developing the ability to stay focused long enough to succeed. Because success is not just about effort. It is about sustained effort, directed effort, consistent effort. It is about staying when it gets hard, continuing when it gets boring, focusing when everything around you tries to pull you away. Think about individuals like Elon Musk or Steve Jobs. Their success was not built in a moment. It was built through years of focused effort, repeated failure, and relentless persistence. They stayed with their vision when others would have quit. That is the difference. Focus is not just concentration. It is commitment. It is choosing one path and staying on it. It is resisting distractions. It is saying no to what does not matter. It is showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it. This audiobook will help you understand how to build that level of focus, how to train your mind, how to eliminate distractions, how to stay consistent, how to push through doubt, and how to continue until you win. Because winning is not reserved for the most talented. It is achieved by those who stay focused the longest. This is your opportunity to stop switching, to stop quitting early, to stop getting distracted, and to start committing fully. Because when you stay focused long enough, something powerful happens. You improve, you adapt, you grow, and eventually, you win. Chapter 1. The real reason most people never win. Most people believe that success is about talent. They think that the most skilled, the most intelligent, or the most gifted individuals are the ones who succeed. But if you observe closely, you will notice something different. Many talented people never reach their potential, and many average individuals achieve extraordinary success. Why does this happen? Because talent is not the deciding factor. Focus is. The real reason most people never win is not lack of ability. It is lack of sustained focus. They start, but they do not continue. They try, but they do not persist. They work, but they do not stay consistent. This creates a pattern. Excitement at the beginning, effort for a short time, then distraction, then a new idea, then a new start, and the cycle repeats. This is the trap, the illusion of progress. You feel like you are doing something, because you are always starting, but you are never finishing. Another important factor is impatience. People expect results quickly. They want success in a short time. But real success takes time. It requires repetition, practice, improvement. And when results do not appear immediately, focus weakens, doubt increases, and people move on. This is where they lose. Another key aspect is distraction. We live in a world filled with constant stimulation, notifications, social media, endless content, opportunities everywhere. Each one pulls your attention away. Each one offers something new. And this creates a dangerous habit. Switching. Instead of going deep into one thing, people jump between many things. This reduces progress. Because success requires depth, not just activity. Another powerful insight is fear of failure. When things become difficult, people hesitate. They avoid challenges. They look for easier paths. But growth happens through difficulty. Avoiding it slows progress. Another important factor is lack of clarity. If you do not know what you are working toward, your focus becomes weak. You drift. You react. You lose direction. Clarity strengthens focus. It gives you a reason to continue. Another key aspect is inconsistency. Working hard for a few days is not enough. Consistency is what creates results. Small actions repeated daily build progress. Another powerful truth is that success is often boring. It is not always exciting. It is not always motivating. It involves repetition, routine, discipline, and many people lose interest. They seek excitement instead of progress. Another important insight is comparison. People compare their journey to others. They see someone else succeeding faster, and they feel behind. This weakens focus, because they start doubting their path. Another key factor is lack of discipline. Without discipline, focus fades. You rely on motivation, and motivation is temporary. Discipline keeps you consistent. Another powerful principle is commitment. Most people are interested in success. Few are committed. Interest leads to temporary action. Commitment leads to sustained effort. Another important aspect is environment. Your surroundings influence your focus. If you are constantly exposed to distractions, your attention weakens. If your environment supports your goals, your focus strengthens. Another key insight is that focus requires sacrifice. You cannot do everything. You must choose. And choosing means letting go of other options. This is difficult, but necessary. Another powerful habit is finishing what you start. Completion builds confidence. It builds discipline. It strengthens focus. Another important factor is belief. If you do not believe you can succeed, your effort decreases. Belief fuels persistence. Another key principle is resilience. There will be setbacks. There will be challenges. Staying focused means continuing despite them. Another powerful insight is that progress is not always visible. There are phases where nothing seems to change. But improvement is happening internally. If you quit during this phase, you lose. Another important aspect is patience. Success takes time. Focus requires patience. Another key factor is responsibility. Take ownership of your journey. Do not blame external factors. This gives you control. Another powerful principle is awareness. Recognize when your focus is slipping. Bring it back, again and again. Another important insight is that winning is a result of staying longer than others. Most people quit early. If you continue, you move ahead. Another key aspect is simplicity. Focus on one thing. Do it well. This creates results. At the end of the day, the difference between winning and losing is not ability. It is consistency. It is focus. It is persistence. This is your shift. From starting to finishing. From distracted to focused. From inconsistent to committed. Stay with your goal. Stay through the challenges. Stay through the boredom. Stay through the doubt. Because if you stay long enough, something changes. You improve. You adapt. You grow. And eventually, you win. Chapter 2. Clarity of vision. Know exactly what you're chasing. There is a silent force behind every focused individual. It is not motivation. It is not luck. It is not even discipline in the beginning. It is clarity. Clarity of vision. Knowing exactly what you are chasing. Because without clarity, focus becomes fragile. You may start with energy. You may feel inspired. But very quickly, that energy fades. Distractions begin to take over. Doubt starts to grow. And your direction becomes uncertain. This is how most people lose focus. Not because they are incapable, but because they are unclear. They don't fully know what they want. Or wise, they want too many things at once. And when everything feels important, nothing truly is. Clarity changes that. It simplifies your path. It gives your mind a target. It creates direction for your effort. And most importantly, it gives you a reason to continue when things become difficult. Because when your vision is clear, your decisions become easier. You know what to say yes to. You know what to say no to. You know what deserves your time, and what does not. Without clarity, every opportunity looks attractive. Every distraction feels justified. Every new idea seems better than the last. This creates a dangerous cycle. You keep shifting, keep changing, keep restarting, but never moving forward deeply enough to succeed. Clarity breaks this cycle. It forces you to choose. And choosing is powerful, because focus requires elimination. You cannot chase everything. You must decide what matters most. This is not always easy, because choosing one path means letting go of others. It means accepting that you cannot do everything at once. But this is the price of focus, and it is worth paying. Another important aspect of clarity is specificity. A vague goal creates weak focus. I want to be successful is not enough. I want to improve my life is not enough. These ideas are too broad. They do not guide action. Clarity requires detail. What exactly do you want? What are you working toward? What does success look like for you? The clearer your vision, the stronger your focus. Because your mind needs direction. It needs something concrete to move toward. Another powerful element is emotional connection. Your vision must mean something to you. It must matter. If your goal does not create emotion, it will not sustain your focus. Because when challenges appear, logic alone is not enough. You need something deeper, a reason, a purpose, something that pulls you forward even when things feel difficult. This is what keeps you going when motivation fades. Another key factor is alignment. Your vision must align with your values. If you are chasing something that does not truly matter to you, your focus will weaken. You may try, but you will not stay consistent. Because internally, there is resistance. Clarity removes this conflict. It aligns your actions with what you truly want. Another important aspect is long-term thinking. Most people focus only on short-term results. They want quick success, immediate outcomes. But real success takes time. And if your vision is only short-term, your focus will not last. Clarity includes understanding the long game. Where are you going? What are you building over time? This perspective strengthens your commitment. Another powerful insight is visualization. See your goal clearly. Imagine the result. Feel it. This creates mental clarity. It makes your vision real. And when something feels real, your mind works toward it more effectively. Another key aspect is writing your vision down. When you write, your thoughts become clay. Your ideas become structured. Your direction becomes stronger. It also creates accountability. Because now your vision is not just in your mind. It is defined. Another important factor is repetition. Clarity is not a one-time decision. It must be reinforced. Remind yourself daily. What are you working toward? Why does it matter? This keeps your focus strong. Another powerful principle is eliminating confusion. Confusion weakens action. If you are unsure about your direction, you hesitate. You delay. Clarity removes hesitation. It creates confidence. Another key insight is simplifying your vision. You do not need complexity. You need clarity. Focus on one main goal, one direction. This strengthens your effort. Another important aspect is commitment to your vision. Once you decide, stay with it. Do not keep changing. Do not keep doubting. Adjust your approach if needed. But do not abandon your goal easily. Another powerful factor is ignoring distractions that do not align with your vision. When something does not support your goal, let it go. This protects your focus. Another key principle is patience. Clarity does not mean instant results. It means consistent direction. Stay with it. Another important insight is that clarity builds confidence. When you know where you are going, you move with certainty. You stop overthinking. You act. Another powerful habit is reviewing your vision regularly. Ensure it still aligns with your goals. Adjust if needed, but stay intentional. Another key factor is belief. Believe in your vision. If you do not, your effort will weaken. Belief strengthens focus. Another important aspect is ownership. Your vision is yours. Take responsibility for it. Do not depend on external validation. Another powerful principle is resilience. There will be challenges. Clarity helps you push through them, because you know why you started. Another key insight is that clarity creates energy. When you are clear, you feel driven. You feel focused. You feel aligned. At the end of the day, clarity is your foundation. Without it, focus fades. With it, focus strengthens. This is your shift. From confusion to clarity. From scattered to directed. From uncertain to committed. Know what you are chasing. Define it clearly. Connect with it deeply. And commit to it fully. Because when your vision is clear, your path becomes stronger. Your focus becomes sharper. And your chances of winning increase dramatically. Chapter 3. Eliminate distractions. Protect your attention at all costs. There is one resource that determines whether you win or lose. It is not time. It is not talent. It is not even effort. It is your attention. Where your attention goes, your life follows. What you focus on grows. What you ignore fades. And yet, in today's world, your attention is constantly under attack. Every day, countless things compete for it. Notifications, social media, messages, endless content. Each one is designed for one purpose: to capture your attention, to keep you engaged, to pull you away from what truly matters. And the more you give in, the weaker your focus becomes. This is the silent danger. You don't lose focus in one big moment. You lose it in small pieces. A few seconds here, a few minutes there, a quick check, a short distraction. But these moments add up. They break your flow. They reduce your depth. They slow your progress. And over time, they keep you from winning. Because success requires sustained focus. Not occasional attention. Not distracted effort. But deep, uninterrupted concentration. This is why eliminating distractions is not optional. It is essential. The first step is awareness. You need to recognize what is distracting you. What pulls your attention away? What breaks your focus? For many people, the biggest distraction is their phone. It is always nearby, always accessible, always offering something new. And this creates a habit, the habit of checking, even when there is no real reason. Another important aspect is understanding how distractions affect your mind. Every time you switch tasks, your brain loses momentum. It takes time to refocus. This is called attention residue. Part of your mind stays on the previous task, and this reduces your ability to concentrate fully. This means that even small distractions have a big impact. They reduce the quality of your work. They increase the time required to complete tasks, and they weaken your focus over time. Another key factor is internal distraction. Not all distractions come from outside. Some come from within. Your thoughts, your impulses, your urge to do something easier. These are often stronger than external distractions because they feel natural. They feel justified. I'll just check for a second. I'll do this later. This is how focus breaks. And this is why discipline is required. Another powerful principle is environment design. Your environment shapes your behavior. If your workspace is full of distractions, your focus will suffer. If your environment supports concentration, focus becomes easier. Remove what distracts you. Keep only what you need. Create a space that encourages deep work. Another important aspect is setting boundaries. You cannot be available all the time. If you respond to everything immediately, your focus will constantly break. Decide when you will be available and when you will focus. Protect your time. Another key insight is controlling digital consumption. Technology is a tool, but if not controlled, it becomes a distraction. Limit unnecessary usage. Use it intentionally, not habitually. Another powerful habit is scheduling distraction time. Instead of trying to eliminate all distractions, control them. Decide when you will check your phone, when you will use social media. This reduces impulsive behavior. Another important factor is working in focus blocks. Set a period of time where you work without interruption. No phone, no distractions, just focus. This trains your mind. It builds concentration. Another key principle is starting with clear intention. Before you begin, decide what you will do. This gives direction to your attention. Without clarity, your mind wanders. Another powerful insight is avoiding multitasking. Many people think they are being productive by doing multiple things at once. But this divides attention, and divided attention reduces effectiveness. Focus on one task, complete it, then move on. Another important aspect is managing your thoughts. When your mind wanders, bring it back. Again and again. This is how focus is trained. Another key factor is discipline over impulse. You will feel the urge to get distracted. That is normal, but you do not have to act on it. Pause. Return to your task. This builds control. Another powerful habit is eliminating low-value activities. Not everything deserves your attention. Remove what does not contribute to your goal. This creates space for focus. Another important insight is protecting your peak hours. There are times when your focus is strongest. Use these for important work. Do not waste them on distractions. Another key principle is consistency. Eliminating distractions is not a one-time action. It is a daily practice. Another powerful aspect is awareness of triggers. What causes you to get distracted? Boredom, difficulty, habit. Identify these triggers and manage them. Another important factor is building tolerance for discomfort. Focus work can feel uncomfortable. Your mind wants stimulation, but staying focused requires resisting that urge. This builds strength. Another key insight is that focus is a skill. It improves with practice. The more you protect your attention, the stronger it becomes. Another powerful principle is intentional living. Use your attention with purpose. Do not let it be controlled by external forces. Another important aspect is reflection. Notice when you lose focus. Learn from it. Improve. Another key factor is commitment. Decide that your attention matters, that your focus is valuable, and protect it. Another powerful habit is starting small. Do not try to focus for hours immediately. Begin with shorter periods. Build gradually. Another important insight is that attention creates results. Where you focus determines what you achieve. Another key principle is simplicity. Remove what distracts. Focus on what matters. Another powerful aspect is control. You may not control everything, but you can control your attention, and that is enough. At the end of the day, your attention is your power. It is your ability to create, to build, to achieve, and if you do not protect it, it will be taken. This is your shift, from distracted to focused, from reactive to intentional, from scattered to controlled. Eliminate distractions. Protect your attention. Stay focused, because when you control your attention, you control your progress. And when you control your progress, you move closer to winning. Chapter 4. Discipline over motivation. Show up even when it's hard. There is a lie that keeps most people stuck. It sounds harmless. It even feels true. I'll do it when I feel motivated. At first, this belief feels logical. Why force yourself when you're not in the mood? Why not wait until you feel inspired? But this is where the trap begins. Because motivation is unreliable. Some days you feel driven. Some days you feel tired. Some days you feel focused. Some days you feel distracted. If your actions depend on how you feel, your progress becomes inconsistent. An inconsistent effort leads to inconsistent results. This is why discipline matters more than motivation. Discipline is not about feeling ready. It is about acting regardless of how you feel. It is the decision to show up, again and again, even when it is difficult, even when it is boring, even when you would rather do something else. This is the real advantage. Because most people stop when things get uncomfortable. They avoid effort. They delay action. They choose ease. But discipline allows you to move forward anyway. The first principle of discipline is understanding resistance. Whenever you are about to do something important, resistance appears. Your mind looks for easier alternatives. It suggests distractions. It creates excuses. I'll start later. I need a break. I'm not ready yet. This is normal. It is how your brain tries to conserve energy. But giving in to resistance weakens your progress. And every time you overcome it, you grow stronger. Another important aspect is separating feelings from actions. You do not need to feel like working to start working. You do not need to feel confident to take action. You act first. Feelings follow. This is a powerful shift, because it removes the need to wait. Another key factor is commitment. Decide what you will do in advance. Do not negotiate with yourself in the moment, because in the moment, comfort will try to win. Make the decision before the resistance appears, and follow through. Another powerful principle is starting small. Discipline does not require massive effort. It requires consistent effort. Take the first step. Just begin. Once you start, it becomes easier to continue. Another important insight is momentum. Action creates momentum. Momentum reduces resistance. The hardest part is often starting. After that, progress becomes smoother. Another key aspect is building habits. When an action becomes a habit, it requires less effort. You do not think. You simply act. This is where discipline becomes easier. Another powerful habit is creating structure. Have a fixed time for your important work. Make it non-negotiable. This removes decision-making. Another important factor is environment. Your surroundings influence your behavior. If distractions are easily available, discipline becomes harder. Remove what tempts you. Design your environment for focus. Another key insight is identity. See yourself as someone who follows through, someone who shows up. This strengthens your discipline. Another powerful principle is consistency over intensity. You do not need extreme effort. You need regular effort. Small actions done daily create big results. Another important aspect is self-control. You will feel the urge to stop, to delay, to distract yourself. Do not act on every impulse. Pause. Choose intentionally. Another key factor is delayed gratification. Discipline means choosing long-term results over short-term comfort. This is not easy, but it is necessary. Another powerful habit is focusing on the next step. Do not think about the entire task. Focus on what you need to do now. This reduces overwhelm. Another important insight is resilience. There will be days when you struggle, days when discipline feels difficult. Do not quit. Continue. This builds strength. Another key aspect is removing excuses. Excuses feel valid, but they delay progress. Take responsibility. Act anyway. Another powerful principle is self-respect. When you follow through, you build trust in yourself. When you don't, that trust weakens. Discipline strengthens that trust. Another important factor is tracking your actions. Notice your consistency. See your progress. This creates awareness. Another key insight is that discipline creates freedom. At first, discipline feels restrictive, but over time, it gives you control, and control creates freedom. Another powerful habit is rewarding effort. Acknowledge your consistency. This builds motivation. Another important aspect is patience. Discipline takes time to develop. Stay consistent. Another key factor is eliminating distractions. Discipline becomes easier when there are fewer temptations. Control your environment. Another powerful principle is commitment to your goal. Remind yourself why you started. This strengthens your discipline. Another important insight is that discipline is a skill. It improves with practice. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Another key aspect is focusing on progress, not perfection. Keep moving forward. Another powerful habit is acting quickly. Do not overthink. Start. Action reduces resistance. Another important factor is ownership. Your actions are your responsibility. Take control. Another key insight is that discipline compounds. Small actions repeated daily create powerful results. At the end of the day, discipline is your edge. It allows you to act when others hesitate. It allows you to continue when others stop. It allows you to succeed when others quit. This is your shift. From waiting to acting. From comfort to growth. From inconsistency to discipline. Show up, even when it is hard. Even when you don't feel like it. Because every time you act with discipline, you move forward. And every step forward brings you closer to winning. Chapter 5. Consistency is king. Small actions, massive results. There is a common belief that success comes from big actions. A breakthrough moment. A powerful decision. A massive effort. And while those moments can matter, they are not what truly creates success. Success is built in small actions. Repeated daily. Consistently. This is where most people misunderstand progress. They focus on intensity. They try to do everything at once. They push hard for a few days, and then they stop. This creates a cycle. Short bursts of effort, followed by long periods of inactivity. And this cycle produces very little progress. Consistency changes everything. Because small actions, when repeated over time, create powerful results. The first principle of consistency is understanding compounding. Small efforts may seem insignificant in the moment, but over time, they add up. They grow, they multiply, and eventually, they create visible results. This is how progress works. Not instantly, but gradually. Another important aspect is patience. Consistency requires time. You may not see results immediately, and this is where many people quit. They assume it is not working. But progress is often invisible at the beginning. It is happening beneath the surface. And if you stop too early, you never see the outcome. Another key factor is simplicity. Consistency becomes easier when your actions are simple. If something is too complex, you will avoid it. Reduce the barrier to starting. Make it easy to act. Another powerful principle is showing up daily. You do not need to be perfect. You do not need to do everything. You just need to show up. Again and again. This builds momentum. Another important insight is identity. Consistency strengthens how you see yourself. When you act regularly, you begin to identify as someone who follows through. This reinforces your behavior. Another key aspect is removing all or nothing thinking. Many people believe that if they cannot do something perfectly, they should not do it at all. This breaks consistency. Doing something small is always better than doing nothing. Another powerful habit is creating routines. When actions become part of your routine, they require less effort. You do not think. You simply act. This makes consistency easier. Another important factor is tracking your progress. When you see your consistency, you feel motivated. It creates awareness. It shows you how far you have come. Another key insight is focusing on the process. Do not only focus on results. Focus on your daily actions. Results will follow. Another powerful principle is discipline. Consistency requires discipline. You may not always feel like showing up, but you do it anyway. Another important aspect is avoiding perfectionism. Trying to be perfect slows you down. Progress matters more. Keep moving. Another key factor is environment. Your surroundings influence your habits. Create an environment that supports your consistency. Another powerful habit is setting realistic expectations. Do not overload yourself. Start with what you can maintain. This builds long-term consistency. Another important insight is momentum. Each action builds on the previous one. The more consistent you are, the easier it becomes. Another key aspect is resilience. There will be days when you miss. Do not stop. Return the next day. Consistency is not about never failing. It is about not giving up. Another powerful principle is commitment. Decide that you will stay consistent. Not occasionally, but daily. Another important factor is removing distractions. Consistency becomes easier when your focus is clear. Protect your time. Another key insight is that small wins matter. Each small action is progress. Acknowledge it. This builds motivation. Another powerful habit is reviewing your actions. Notice your patterns. Improve continuously. Another important aspect is long-term thinking. Consistency is about the future. Stay committed to your path. Another key factor is patience with yourself. Growth takes time. Trust the process. Another powerful principle is discipline over mood. Do not rely on how you feel. Act anyway. Another important insight is that consistency builds confidence. When you show up regularly, you trust yourself more. Another key aspect is focus. Stay committed to your goal. Avoid unnecessary changes. Another powerful habit is repetition. The more you repeat an action, the stronger it becomes. Another important factor is belief. Believe that your efforts will pay off. This strengthens consistency. Another key insight is that consistency creates results. Not instantly, but inevitably. Another powerful principle is ownership. Your actions are your responsibility. Stay accountable. At the end of the day, consistency is your advantage. It allows you to move forward while others stop. It allows you to improve while others quit. It allows you to win while others give up. This is your shift. From occasional to consistent. From intense to steady. From starting to continuing. Show up daily. Take small steps. Stay committed. Because when you stay consistent long enough, something powerful happens. Your effort compounds. Your progress accelerates. And you move closer to winning. Chapter 6. Embrace the boring. Why repetition leads to success. There is a stage in every journey where excitement fades. At the beginning, everything feels new. You feel motivated. You feel energized. You feel driven. But after some time, things change. The work becomes repetitive. The progress slows down. The excitement disappears. And this is where most people stop. Not because they cannot continue, but because they are no longer entertained. They mistake boredom for lack of progress. They assume that if it feels repetitive, it must not be working. But the truth is the opposite. Repetition is where success is built. Not in the exciting beginning, not in the motivational moments, but in the quiet, consistent, often boring repetition of actions. This is the stage that separates those who win from those who quit. Because most people seek excitement. They want variety. They want constant stimulation. But success does not come from variety. It comes from mastery. And mastery requires repetition. The first principle of embracing the boring is understanding how growth works. At the beginning of any skill, progress feels fast. You learn quickly. You improve visibly. But over time, improvement slows down. It becomes less noticeable. And this creates frustration. Because you feel like you are not progressing. But you are. It is just happening at a deeper level. Your skills are refining. Your understanding is deepening. Your consistency is strengthening. This stage is not visible, but it is essential. Another important aspect is discipline. When excitement fades, discipline takes over. This is where your habits matter. This is where your routines carry you forward. Because you are no longer relying on motivation. You are relying on consistency. Another key factor is patience. Repetition requires time. You cannot rush mastery. You cannot skip the process. You must go through it, again and again. Another powerful insight is that boredom is a sign of familiarity. It means you are no longer struggling with the basics. You are becoming comfortable. And this is where refinement begins. Another important aspect is focus. When tasks become repetitive, your mind looks for distractions. It seeks something new, something easier. But staying focused during repetition builds mental strength. It trains your ability to concentrate. Another key principle is embracing routine. Routine may feel monotonous, but it creates stability. It reduces decision-making. It allows you to act consistently. Another powerful habit is finding purpose in repetition. Do not see it as something you have to do. See it as something that is building your future. Each repetition is progress, even if it does not feel like it. Another important factor is removing the need for constant excitement. Not everything needs to be enjoyable. Some actions are valuable because of their results, not because of how they feel. Another key insight is delayed gratification. Repetition may not give immediate rewards, but over time, it creates powerful outcomes. This requires patience. Another powerful principle is identity. When you continue despite boredom, you become someone who is committed, someone who follows through. This strengthens your character. Another important aspect is consistency. Repetition builds consistency, and consistency builds results. Another key factor is reducing resistance. The more you repeat an action, the easier it becomes. It requires less effort. This is how habits are formed. Another powerful habit is focusing on improvement. Even small improvements matter. Refine your actions. Adjust your approach. Grow gradually. Another important insight is resilience. There will be moments when you feel like stopping. Moments when repetition feels pointless. Continue anyway. This builds strength. Another key aspect is discipline over comfort. Repetition is not always comfortable, but it is necessary. Choose growth over comfort. Another powerful principle is long-term thinking. Do not judge your progress based on one day. Look at the bigger picture. Repetition creates results over time. Another important factor is trust. Trust the process. Trust that your efforts are working, even if you cannot see immediate results. Another key insight is that success is built in unseen moments. The quiet days, the repetitive tasks, the consistent actions. This is where real progress happens. Another powerful habit is removing distractions during repetitive work. Stay present. Stay focused. This improves quality. Another important aspect is discipline and execution. Do not rush. Do not cut corners. Do it properly. Every time. Another key factor is mental strength. Repetition builds resilience. It strengthens your ability to continue. Another powerful principle is commitment. Stay with your process. Do not keep changing. Do not keep searching for something new. Master what you have started. Another important insight is that boredom is temporary. Results are lasting. Focus on the outcome, not the feeling. Another key aspect is self-control. Do not let boredom lead to distraction. Stay focused. Another powerful habit is celebrating consistency. Recognize your effort. This builds motivation. Another important factor is persistence. Repetition requires persistence. Keep going. Another key insight is that mastery is repetition done right. Not just doing something again and again, but improving each time. Another powerful principle is ownership. Take responsibility for your growth. Commit to the process. At the end of the day, repetition is your advantage. Most people avoid it. Most people quit when it becomes boring. But if you continue, you move ahead. This is your shift. From excitement to discipline. From variety to mastery. From starting to repeating. Embrace the boring. Trust the process. Stay consistent. Because when you continue through repetition, you build something powerful. You build skill. You build discipline. You build strength. And eventually, you win. Chapter 7. Ignore the noise. Stay focused in a distracted world. There's never been a time like this. A time where information is everywhere. Opinions are constant. Voices are endless. Everyone is talking. Everyone is sharing. Everyone is influencing. And in the middle of all this noise, something dangerous happens. You lose your focus. Not because you are weak, but because your attention is being pulled in every direction. One moment, you are clear about your goal. The next moment, you see something new. A different path. A different idea. A different definition of success. And suddenly, you begin to question everything. Am I doing the right thing? Should I try something else? Is there a faster way? This is how noise destroys focus. Not by stopping you, but by confusing you. By making you doubt your path. By making you compare your journey to others. And once doubt enters, consistency weakens. This is why learning to ignore the noise is essential. Because focus is not just about working hard. It is about protecting your direction. The first principle is understanding what noise really is. Noise is anything that distracts you from your goal. It is not just sound. It is information that does not serve you. It is opinions that do not align with your vision. It is content that pulls you away from your path. Another important aspect is social comparison. You see others succeeding. You see their highlights, their results, their achievements, and you feel behind. But what you see is not the full story. You do not see their struggles, their failures, their process. Comparison creates doubt, and doubt weakens focus. Another key factor is information overload. There is too much advice, too many strategies, too many right ways to succeed. And this creates confusion. Because instead of acting, you keep learning. Instead of committing, you keep searching. Clarity disappears. Action slows down. Another powerful insight is that not all information is valuable. Just because something is available does not mean it is useful. You must filter what you consume. Be selective. Protect your attention. Another important aspect is staying committed to your path. Once you decide your direction, stay with it. Do not keep changing because of external influence. Adjust your strategy if needed, but do not abandon your goal. Another key principle is building internal confidence. Trust your decisions. Trust your process. Trust your ability to figure things out. This reduces the impact of external noise. Another powerful habit is limiting exposure. You do not need to consume everything. Reduce unnecessary input. Create space for focus. Another important factor is defining your own success. Do not let others decide what success looks like for you. Your path is yours. Your goals are yours. Stay aligned with them. Another key insight is that silence is powerful. When you reduce noise, your mind becomes clearer. Your thoughts become stronger. Your focus improves. Another powerful principle is discipline and consumption. Be intentional about what you watch, read, and listen to. Choose content that supports your growth. Avoid what distracts you. Another important aspect is avoiding constant validation. Do not seek approval for every step. Trust yourself. Move forward. Another key factor is emotional control. Noise can create anxiety. It can create pressure. Manage your emotions. Stay calm. Stay focused. Another powerful habit is creating a focused environment. Reduce external distractions. Create a space where you can think clearly. Another important insight is that clarity comes from action, not from endless thinking, not from constant learning, but from doing. Take action. Learn from experience. Another key aspect is patience. Do not rush because others are moving fast. Stay consistent. Your time will come. Another powerful principle is ignoring negativity. Not everyone will support you. Not everyone will understand your path. That is okay. Stay focused. Another important factor is self-awareness. Notice when noise is affecting you. Bring your attention back. Another key insight is that focus requires boundaries. You cannot allow everything into your mind. Protect it. Another powerful habit is staying connected to your vision. Remind yourself why you started. This keeps you grounded. Another important aspect is consistency in action. Do not let noise stop you. Continue moving forward. Another key factor is simplicity. Do not overcomplicate your journey. Focus on what matters. Another powerful principle is ownership. Your path is your responsibility. Stay committed to it. Another important insight is that noise is constant. It will not disappear, but your response can change. Another key aspect is discipline and attention. Choose what you focus on. Ignore the rest. Another powerful habit is building mental strength. Stay focused despite distractions. This creates resilience. Another important factor is long-term thinking. Do not get distracted by short-term trends. Stay committed to your vision. Another key insight is that winners ignore noise. They stay focused. They stay consistent. They trust their path. At the end of the day, your success depends on your ability to stay focused. Not just on your work, but on your direction. This is your shift. From distracted to focused. From influenced to independent. From confused to clear. Ignore the noise. Protect your attention. Stay committed to your path. Because when you stay focused in a distracted world, you gain an advantage that most people will never have. And that is how you move closer to winning. Chapter 8. Patience and Persistence. Why winning takes time. There is a truth that many people struggle to accept. Winning takes time. Not days. Not weeks. Not quick bursts of effort. But consistent effort over a long period. And this is where most people lose their way. They start with energy. They work hard. They stay focused for a while. But when results don't appear quickly, something begins to change. Doubt grows. Frustration builds. And slowly, persistence fades. This is the moment that separates those who win from those who quit. Because success is not just about effort. It is about sustained effort. Over time. The first principle of patience is understanding delayed results. Not all effort produces immediate outcomes. Some work compounds quietly, beneath the surface. You may not see progress right away, but improvement is happening. Skills are developing. Understanding is deepening. Strength is building. And if you stop too early, you lose everything you've built. Another important aspect is managing expectations. Many people expect fast success. They believe results should come quickly. But this creates pressure. And when expectations are not met, motivation drops. Patience removes this pressure. It allows you to stay focused on the process. Another key factor is persistence. Persistence is the ability to continue. Despite difficulty, despite slow progress, despite setbacks, it is the decision to keep going. Again and again. Another powerful insight is that setbacks are part of the journey. You will face obstacles. You will make mistakes. You will experience failure. This is not a sign to stop. It is part of growth. Each challenge teaches you something. Each failure improves you. Another important aspect is emotional control. When results are slow, frustration is natural. But reacting emotionally weakens persistence. Stay calm. Stay focused. Continue your effort. Another key principle is long-term thinking. Do not judge your progress based on short periods. Look at the bigger picture. Where will you be in 1 year? In 2 years? Consistency over time creates results. Another powerful habit is trusting the process. Even when you cannot see results. Even when progress feels slow. Trust that your effort is working. Another important factor is discipline. Persistence requires discipline. You may not always feel motivated, but you continue anyway. Another key insight is that growth is not linear. Progress is not always steady. There are ups and downs, periods of rapid improvement, and periods of slow growth. Stay consistent through both. Another powerful principle is resilience. Resilience is your ability to recover, to keep going after setbacks, to continue despite difficulty. This is what builds strength. Another important aspect is focusing on daily actions. Do not worry about the end result. Focus on what you can do today. This makes the process manageable. Another key factor is avoiding comparison. Others may seem ahead, but their journey is different. Stay focused on your path. Another powerful habit is celebrating small progress. Every step forward matters. Acknowledge it. This builds motivation. Another important insight is that quitting resets your progress. When you stop, you lose momentum. When you start again, you begin from behind. Persistence keeps you moving forward. Another key aspect is patience with yourself. Growth takes time. Do not rush. Do not force results. Allow progress to happen naturally. Another powerful principle is commitment. Decide that you will stay with your goal, no matter how long it takes. This strengthens persistence. Another important factor is learning from mistakes. Do not ignore failure. Understand it. Improve from it. This accelerates growth. Another key insight is that persistence builds confidence. Every time you continue, you strengthen your belief in yourself. Another powerful habit is maintaining focus. Do not get distracted by new ideas. Stay committed to your path. Another important aspect is managing energy. Take care of yourself. Rest when needed. Maintain balance. This supports long-term persistence. Another key factor is belief. Believe that your effort will lead to results. This keeps you going. Another powerful principle is discipline in difficult moments. When things get hard, stay consistent. This builds strength. Another important insight is that success often comes after long periods of effort. Most people quit before reaching that point. If you continue, you gain an advantage. Another key aspect is simplicity. Focus on your goal. Take action. Repeat. Another powerful habit is staying present. Do not worry about the future. Focus on today. Another important factor is mental strength. Persistence requires a strong mindset. Train your mind to continue. Another key insight is that patience is not waiting. It is working while you wait. This is the difference. Another powerful principle is ownership. Your journey is your responsibility. Stay committed. Another important aspect is consistency. Persistence is consistency over time. Another key factor is resilience in the face of boredom. Not every day will feel exciting. Continue anyway. Another powerful insight is that time will pass regardless. The question is whether you will use it or waste it. At the end of the day, patience and persistence are your greatest advantages. Most people give up too soon. Most people expect too much too fast. But if you stay, if you continue, if you persist, you move ahead. This is your shift. From rushing to trusting. From quitting to continuing. From doubt to belief. Be patient. Stay persistent. Keep moving forward. Because success is not about speed. It is about endurance. And those who endure win. Chapter 9. Mental Strength. Win the battle inside your mind. There's a battle happening every single day. Not outside, but inside your mind. A battle between focus and distraction. Between discipline and comfort. Between persistence and quitting. And the outcome of this battle determines everything. Because before you win in the world, you must win in your mind. Most people think success is about external factors. Opportunities, resources, luck. But the truth is deeper. Your thoughts shape your actions. Your actions shape your results. And if your mind is not strong, your focus will not last. This is why mental strength is essential. It allows you to stay focused, to stay consistent, to continue when things get difficult. The first principle of mental strength is awareness. You must observe your thoughts. Notice what you tell yourself. Are your thoughts helping you or holding you back? I can't do this. This is too hard. I'll try later. These thoughts weaken your focus. And if you believe them, they become your reality. Another important aspect is control. You cannot stop thoughts from appearing, but you can choose how to respond. You can replace negative thoughts with stronger ones. I will figure this out. I will keep going. I will improve. This shift changes your mindset. Another key factor is self-talk. The way you speak to yourself matters. Encouraging thoughts builds strength. Negative thoughts create doubt. Choose your words carefully. Another powerful principle is emotional control. You will feel frustration. You will feel doubt. You will feel tired. These emotions are normal, but they do not have to control your actions. Act based on your goals, not your feelings. Another important insight is resilience. Mental strength means continuing despite challenges, despite failure, despite difficulty. It is the ability to get back up again and again. Another key aspect is discipline in thinking. Do not allow your mind to wander into negativity. Bring it back. Focus on what matters. Another powerful habit is visualization. See yourself succeeding. See yourself staying focused. This strengthens your belief. Another important factor is confidence. Confidence does not come from thinking. It comes from action. The more you act, the more confident you become. Another key insight is that fear is natural. You will feel uncertain. You will feel uncomfortable. But fear is not a signal to stop. It is a signal to grow. Another powerful principle is focusing on what you can control. Do not waste energy on things outside your control. Focus on your actions, your effort, your mindset. Another important aspect is patience with your thoughts. Your mind will not become strong overnight. Train it daily. Another key factor is consistency. Mental strength is built through repetition. The more you challenge your mind, the stronger it becomes. Another powerful habit is staying present. Do not overthink the future. Do not dwell on the past. Focus on now. Another important insight is that challenges build strength. Difficult situations train your mind. They make you stronger. Another key aspect is removing limiting beliefs. Question your doubts. Challenge your fears. Replace them with empowering beliefs. Another powerful principle is persistence in thought. Keep reminding yourself of your goal. Stay focused. Another important factor is self-discipline. Control your reactions. Control your behavior. This strengthens your mind. Another key insight is that your mind follows your actions. When you act, your mind adapts. When you hesitate, your mind weakens. Another powerful habit is positive reinforcement. Acknowledge your effort. This builds confidence. Another important aspect is resilience after failure. Failure is not the end. It is feedback. Learn from it. Continue. Another key factor is focus. Keep your attention on your goal. Ignore distractions. Another powerful principle is belief in growth. You can improve. You can get better. This belief strengthens your mindset. Another important insight is that mental strength creates consistency. When your mind is strong, your actions become steady. Another key aspect is discipline over emotion. Do not let feelings control your decisions. Act with intention. Another powerful habit is reflection. Notice your thoughts. Improve them. Another important factor is commitment. Decide that you will stay strong, no matter what. Another key insight is that your mind can be trained. It is not fixed. It can grow. It can improve. Another powerful principle is ownership. Your thoughts are your responsibility. Take control. Another important aspect is focus on progress. Do not expect perfection. Keep improving. Another key factor is resilience in discomfort. Growth is uncomfortable. Accept it. Another powerful insight is that mental strength is your foundation. Without it, focus fades. With it, focus strengthens. At the end of the day, your greatest challenge is not external. It is internal. And when you win that battle, everything changes. This is your shift. From doubt to belief. From weakness to strength. From hesitation to action. Train your mind. Control your thoughts. Stay focused. Because when your mind is strong, your actions follow. And when your actions are consistent, your success becomes inevitable. Chapter 10. Stay focused until you win. The identity of a winner rocket. Everything you have learned so far leads to one final truth. Winning is not just about what you do. It is about who you become. Because in the end, success is not built only through strategies, habits, or routines. It is built through identity. The kind of person you decide to be. Most people try to change their results without changing themselves. They try new plans, new systems, new techniques, but they keep the same mindset, the same habits, the same level of commitment. And that is why results do not last. Because real transformation happens when your identity changes. When you stop seeing focus as something you try to do and start seeing it as who you are. The first principle of winning is identity. A winner is not someone who wins once. A winner is someone who continues, someone who stays, someone who refuses to quit. This identity shapes behavior. If you see yourself as someone who gives up easily, you will. If you see yourself as someone who gets distracted, you will. But if you see yourself as someone who stays focused until the end, everything changes. Your actions align with that belief. Your discipline strengthens. Your consistency improves. Your focus becomes natural. Another important aspect is ownership. Winners take full responsibility for their time, for their actions, for their results. They do not blame circumstances. They do not wait for perfect conditions. They act. They adapt. They continue. Ownership gives you control, and control creates power. Another key factor is commitment. Not temporary interest, not occasional effort, but full commitment. The decision that no matter what happens, you will continue. This is what separates winners from everyone else. Another powerful insight is consistency as identity. You are not someone who acts occasionally. You are someone who shows up daily. You follow through. You complete what you start. This builds strength. Another important aspect is discipline as identity. Not something you force, but something you embody. You do what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel. This creates reliability. Another key principle is resilience. Winners do not avoid failure. They expect it. They learn from it. They grow through it. They continue. Another powerful habit is long-term thinking. Winners focus on the bigger picture. They do not get distracted by short-term discomfort. They stay committed to their vision. Another important factor is self-trust. When you act consistently, you build trust in yourself. You know you will follow through. This creates confidence. Another key insight is alignment. Your identity, your actions, and your goals must match. If you say you are focused, act focused. If you say you are disciplined, act disciplined. Alignment creates strength. Another powerful principle is eliminating excuses. Excuses weaken identity. They create inconsistency. Winners remove them. They act anyway. Another important aspect is protecting your focus. Your attention is valuable. Do not give it away easily. Stay committed to what matters. Another key factor is persistence. Winning does not happen instantly. It happens through continued effort. Stay with your path. Another powerful habit is self-awareness. Notice your behavior. Adjust when needed. Improve continuously. Another important insight is belief. Believe that you will win. Not because it is easy, but because you will not stop. Another key aspect is discipline in difficult moments. When things get hard, continue. This is where identity is strengthened. Another powerful principle is growth. Winners are always improving, learning, adapting, evolving. Another important factor is simplicity. Focus on what matters. Ignore the rest. Another key insight is that identity compounds. Small actions build your identity, day by day, action by action. Another powerful habit is finishing what you start. Completion builds confidence. It strengthens your mindset. Another important aspect is resilience and boredom. Not every day will be exciting. Continue anyway. Another key factor is commitment to your vision. Stay aligned with your goal. Do not keep changing direction. Another powerful principle is ownership of your life. Your results are your responsibility. Take control. Another important insight is that winners are made in small moments. The moments when you choose to continue. The moments when you resist distraction. The moments when you act despite discomfort. These moments build your identity. Another key aspect is patience. Winning takes time. Stay consistent. Another powerful habit is discipline over emotion. Do not rely on how you feel. Act with intention. Another important factor is focus. Keep your attention on your goal. Ignore distractions. Another key insight is that winning is inevitable when you do not quit. It may take time. It may take effort. But if you stay, you succeed. Another powerful principle is ownership of your time. Use it wisely. Protect it. Value it. Another important aspect is commitment to growth. Always look for ways to improve. Another key factor is resilience in failure. Do not stop. Learn. Continue. Another powerful insight is that identity defines your future. Who you are determines what you achieve. At the end of the day, this journey is not just about success. It is about transformation, becoming someone who is focused, disciplined, consistent, resilient, someone who does not quit, someone who stays until the end. This is your final shift, from trying to becoming, from starting to finishing, from stopping to continuing. You are no longer someone who gets distracted. You are someone who stays focused. You are no longer someone who quits early. You are someone who continues. You are no longer someone who doubts. You are someone who believes. Stay focused. Stay consistent. Stay committed. Because when you become the person who does not quit, winning is no longer a possibility. It becomes inevitable.